Next game, obviously, will be EXCEL taking on Misfits. My name is Jake Kipper Matthews. I am joined by Celtic Tiger Brennan, who has switched place with Daniel Orcs Harrison, who's now wearing glasses. What happened?
I was wearing glasses. He was wearing glasses before.
Wait, you guys...
Has this confused you? Because
yeah,
no.
We actually confused him. This is great.
You talked about switching glasses.
Yeah,
I
don't know what you're talking about. Are you okay?
I got outplayed. I got outplayed on my own desk.
Unlucky. Yep. Unlucky.
In my home. Right, let's have a little focus on this game. EXCEL taking on Misfits. This is going to be a really exciting game. EXCEL need to get this win now. Enclave were able to beat out Wind and Rain. And if EXCEL can get this win, it means they will be facing off versus Enclave in the finals tomorrow. And the winner of that game will lock in EU Masters finals. Not finals. EU Masters group stages.
Not even the
play-ins.
The play-ins.
Play-ins, yeah.
Oh yeah, highest
because it is
play-ins.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
but still, it's a formidable thing.
Yeah,
Then only 2 teams from each region go, and to have it secured, it doesn't mean they can't get the group stage spot if they win.
I mean,
I think that's the big thing. It's the
year,
safety. It's the safety of that.
Well, ClickTech earlier on in the year, the spring EU Masters, they were like the Balkan team who just showed up. No one knew who they were, and they made it to semi-finals, I believe. No, not semis. They were playoffs at least.
Yeah.
They made it to playoffs.
Yeah,
and
the quarters. They made it to quarters.
Yeah, they were a great team.
Yeah,
all gone their own ways.
Yeah. Big thing to talk about this matchup. This is obviously a rematch of the finals from last Premiership, where Misfits came out ahead despite nearly getting reverse sweep. They managed to close it out 3-2.
EXCEL don't reverse sweep after you left, mate.
Yeah, that is the problem. But they are now in a situation where it's a redeemed Misfits. That's what they're looking for. They're looking for this redemption. They have brought Leader into the mid lane. They're hoping he's what they need to revamp.
And yeah, we talked about how the coach was brought back, and that's given a lot of life to this team as well. One of the things that I really would love to touch on, though, is yes, Leader's in, and he's very good. Rippy has also been the biggest concern from EXCEL.
Yeah.
There has been some spotty positioning, he's been picked off here and there, and Leader's the kind of player that'll punish that very quickly.
Absolutely.
And with Misfits now revitalized and looking to punish as quick as possible, following effectively the expected meta that we're currently in, that can end games.
Yeah, and when EXCEL first picked up Rippy, they replaced their old mid laner Kumel, and the reason they went for this, they wanted someone who was very consistent, was like a rock in the mid lane. I wouldn't say Rippy has quite been at that point yet, but he really needs to be against Leader, because Leader isn't someone who will play a farm lane mid, as we saw between the Corki and the Azir last series. He's someone who will play to get solo kills in the mid lane. He's played the Akali. He's very competent on Yasuo, even willing to play Aurelia mid. And so if Rippy isn't solid, it could really fall apart and make his whole team crumble.
Is there anything we're really expecting to see? We've kind of focused a little bit on the mid lane here. Shikari and Sendo is where I want to look. What are we expecting up here? You know, these players both very capable of playing these carries. Shikari, again, another Poppy player. Sendo got the first pentakill of Forge of Champions on the Urgot as well. So, you know, these guys like to play aggressive in lane. What are we expecting here? There we go.
Oh, yep, just had a little...
I was like, how was that?
Yep. I think it's going to be quite dependent on sides. I think there are a lot of opportunities where they would like to take counter picks. I think Sendo pushes for that more. I think Shikari's more willing to play for his team, but he isn't the sort of person who will give up a good matchup if he can get one. So there might be a lot of back and forth there, but I feel like the thing is, if Misfits are on red side, they will play for the counter pick mid. I feel like if EXCEL are on red side, they might well go for the counter pick top, and that's how they'll try and play out the compositions and get strength.
I would also say that I wouldn't be surprised to see Misfits do a lot more flex picking.
Yep.
You know, they have a lot of things like, as you said, the Leader can pick up a lot more aggressive things in the mid lane, which often can be flexed between either jungle or top. I'm really interested to see how this draft goes, especially considering that EXCEL prior to this had pretty much the strongest drafts of any of the teams.
Yeah.
So even from draft, this should be a very interesting series.
Ferndog against Zen, it is the matchup.
And again, you know, this was the coaches who showed down in the ESL Premiership Finals just before EU Masters in spring. Now Zen's returned, and he's been put in the same situation where he has to face off against, you know, these are two very good coaches.
But it's also Zen returning from LCS experience. Like, this guy has been at a very high level, so hopefully he can bring that forward.
Have you noticed something? Misfits were doing pretty well in the LCS, and then suddenly they stopped, and then suddenly the Academy team got their coach back.
And the Academy team started to get progressively better.
Interesting one.
Questionable stuff. I don't know.
I'm just saying
like,
it
you
could
just
be
threw
linked.
me into a corner
in
there.
my head, I was just like, are you trying to suggest that they're just swapped teams?
No. What I'm trying to say is that...
Yeah, we're getting the LCS squad over here, the Academy squad's going over there. It's all going to be
Zen's the
crazy.
mastermind who's behind the roster.
I mean, Zen, seriously, the rejig, we were like, okay, Leader just got brought in, but Misfits still had the same issues. They were still looking at, like, okay, they had a lot of solo play going on, but not necessarily team play. The return of Zen seemed to completely flip.
Hey, we're in to pick some bans. There's EXCEL are going to be starting off the blue side, Misfits Academy on that red side, and see what the first ban's going to be. Both of these coaches,
What a
massive draft focused, you know, they're masterminds in these areas.
You know how I talked about how, you know, you can look for someone's profile, what champion you might want to ban? Leader actually had a Yasuo montage on the front page of the client in EU.
You didn't even have to go looking.
Yeah,
it was
just,
right in front of you.
You log in League? Oh, well, I guess we're banning Yasuo. That definitely came in useful there.
This is played in live client, so you literally just open it up and you're like, guys, I had a thought.
There's one guy I think we should be removing, and it's going to be the Yasuos. Varus and Aatrox are taken away.
I do like Varus taken away from Chrisberg as well. I think he's had a lot of very consistent performances on that, and Varus is something you can pick into a lot of things now that Lethality Varus is back. You can pick it into squishy comps, you can pick it into tankier comps and change to on-hit. Very versatile, removed from play.
I still prefer the on-hit, but I know Lethality.
I prefer Lethality.
On-hit's just so
Legolas,
satisfying.
just one-shot them.
Leader getting targeted pretty heavily here, so obviously Yasuo is a big pick of his. They felt the need to ban away their car leaders because they're on red side. Then Rise is one of his signature mages that he does like to go through, so the new member to the Misfits roster getting pinched on a bit here. The question is, will he be able to survive this and still get a comfortable matchup for him?
Something we talked about was the priority we expected Morgana to pick up. I wonder if she'll still have that.
Yeah, that's a big question. Oh, and I mean, this is really pinching the pool. Aurelia's off the table, Yasuo's off the table, Raya's off the table. What's another pick Leader likes to play?
It's being
flexed. It could be flexed, but the thing is that this is another pick that Leader likes to play. He now no longer has the option. His pool is really getting pinched at this point. What he's going to be able to bring out is a big question.
Well, maybe he won't pick anything up quite yet. Maybe he wants to scout.
I would love to see something like Kate Morgana here. Get yourself some priority bot lane, something with a bit of safety too.
I mean, you can still go for the Lucian Braum if you want to go aggressive. Or
Rakan
Xayah Rakan. Yeah. Xayah's still open as well.
The question is, do you take the Xayah here, or do you take... Yep, I think they're going to...
I think you do.
The problem is, if you go for a jungler there, then you're locked into that Xayah in the third pick. You can potentially get yourself in a bad matchup where...
You could still give the Xayah over to EXCEL.
Yeah.
Xayah hits her power spike a lot quicker than she used to now that Stormrazor is extremely cheap.
Yeah.
It's 2,800 gold for her first 2 items each. And suddenly, on a very cheap buy, you've got a rapid fire cannon and you've got that Stormrazor, and that's when Xayah really comes alive in lane. So it doesn't. You don't even need that Rakan anymore. But the fact that you're going to do it up with a Rakan for the side of Misfits, a lot of engage they can throw down, a lot of lane pressure they can also use. And if we do see a Flick pick something like an engaged tank like the Sejuani they're currently hovering, that's even more engaged. And I expect to see bot lane really be a heavy priority for the side of Misfits.
And the thing is, you have to question what EXCEL can pick here. Ezreal will be the very obvious option to be able to survive against all engage. I have no doubt that Misfits will try and ban it away. And the question is, if you're forced into something like the Ashe or a Jhin, that is very vulnerable against a Rakan.
Yeah, I mean, then normally, again, you'd lean towards the Morgana, but with Alistar locked in, you can't. Yeah. Now you have to think about what kind of picks they're going to go for. Really interestingly, they ban away the Jhin.
I expect the Ezreal ban next. I would be very surprised if they didn't.
I'm honestly expecting them to leave up the Jhin, knowing how immobile that is.
I think he has a bit more from the movement speed to play a bit for the range. I think Ashe is very...
One of the things I was going to touch on, though, as well, is when you have Alistar, one of the things you can turn around with, especially since Rakan was just nerfed in terms of survivability, you engage first.
Yeah,
and he just goes down. And especially with things like Jhin, that could have been dangerous.
I mean, that's the big thing, is that on this patch, there is less base HP, less base armor on this Rakan. So if he gets caught in a combo, could be quite vulnerable on this patch.
And they're really trying to pinch Leader to the ends of his champ pool right now, removing the Talon as well.
I think they're going to leave, as you kind of talked about how Leader is, you know, the player for Misfits now, the new guy who's a hard carry in the mid lane. They'll probably give him counter pick mid.
Yeah.
Just blind pick a top now, and then see whether or not there's going to be the Aurelia top or mid, and then just give Leader as much of a priority lane as he can get, because Leader is the kind of player as well you can kind of leave alone, and then you focus your attention on other people, because the 1v1 he should be fine in.
This was a really smart ban though coming out from EXCEL, because I was thinking about what would you want to blind top lane. Poppy, great blind in the top lane as we've seen consistently. Another blind that's normally used is the Narb. It's not great into Aurelia. There's really a lot of all-in threat when you're in that mini Narb. So you're now in a difficult position. where Shikari might have to pick a less comfortable blind.
Oh, what? The Z for leader.
I guess if you pinch the pool that much, you're going to bring out some spicy picks.
Yeah.
Don't know what he's up against
I don't
yet.
know why, but I had in my head, I was like, maybe leader was a Z player. Like, I'm not really like that familiar with his champion pool, but in my head, I was like, you might play Z.
I mean, please just
Because you described the champions
You probably have him in your solo queue game. He's that person who likes to play aggro assassin.
Oh my god. Okay.
Oh, we might.
There we go.
You know, non-ironically, we might actually see. No, never mind.
I like this.
That's
though.
a Draven,
I like
though.
that
I was
even more,
literally
yeah.
talking about Jin had the burst if you go in on the Rakan after those nerfs. Same with the Xayah. Draven does the exact same
The
thing.
thing is, as well, is that the movement speed from your Blood Rush means it's so easy to sidestep the Rakan W. It means that they can't lock you down, and then Draven can just run away from the game. Gonna see the Vlad.
Oh, Rippy.
Again, but it's a
This
flex.
is a flex. You
It
can
is a
swap
flex.
Aurelia and Vlad around.
You're probably going to want to put the Vladimir versus the Z.
Honestly, Aurelia does quite well into Z too.
I think Vlad.
Yeah, true.
Vlad might
Yeah.
struggle in the early levels. You need to get to like level 8
Yeah.
or 9.
Yeah.
It's not even just having the pool. It's that you have to get to the
It's
point
the
where
sustain.
you can trade back into him, and then if yours in, you have the pool to stop
Well,
that.
the like level 1 for Vlad is like not as weak because Z wants his shadow to be able to kind of get that extra
Yeah.
range.
But then
Then
level,
once level 2 hits, suddenly you're like, oh, okay.
yeah,
we're
level
Z into
3 is really threatening. We do actually see the Gnar come out. And again, we said this could be a difficult matchup because normally Gnar is a great blind. He plays well into almost anything. In Aurelia, it can be a bit tricky. If she lands that stun, there is so much all-in potential.
This game, okay, we were
This is a
talking
fun
about
draft.
this is the series to watch, and we start out with a Draven, we start out with a Z. Rippy kind of playing the Vladimir. I'm curious to see actually how this lane's going to go, because you say, you know, level 9 is when he gets very safe in this lane. Level 1 is going to be, unless there's some cheese.
If he's not behind. If he's behind, forget about
I
it.
mean, the bigger issue for me as well, as we talked about how Rippy is one of the people that EXCEL has struggled with, if he starts to fall behind a Z,
Yeah.
Z will just jump onto him again and again. It does not end.
I think
Blood pool you can only have for so long.
Yeah.
And like, what do you block? Do you block the initial in, or do you try to block the pop? Like,
You can't block the pop with the pool. So.
you can't. Yes.
Yeah.
You
You
okay,
need to
you're
block,
right.
and
You're
you
right.
also want to reduce the initial damage that the pop will do. So yeah, you need to use the blood pool there, but that doesn't necessarily save you if Zed gets strong enough to just hit you with a good WEQ. Like, you've seen that again previously when Electrocute was very strong. Electrocute hasn't dropped off all its damage. It still exists and does plenty, and Zed's bases are not to be ignored.
The thing is as well is that in terms of laning prowess, once you hit that level 3, you can use your combo to proc Electrocute. You then wait until your Shadow's up and Electrocute, because prior to this, it was like a 50-second cooldown in the early game. It's now down to 25 seconds.
Yeah.
You can feasibly have it up for almost every combo you go for.
Now, bear with me. I'm just going to go into crazy theory crafting here. You could have picked the true Z counter of Fizz. He's also very strong on this patch.
He's getting nerfed a little bit just on this
Yeah,
first
he
patch.
Just
Yeah.
a little bit.
I think he's
still
still
very
very
strong.
I feel like the
very,
issue-
very viable.
In theory, yes, but I feel like in terms of Rippy's champion pool, I don't think he's someone who
Well,
would
yeah,
play it.
that's where the weakness comes in. Is can Rippy play an assassin like Fizz? Into someone who, leader, you know, we're gonna have to see how competent he is on this Z. Now, I want to ask you a question because I know Orcs definitely doesn't know the answer to this. Is this the patch where they made Duskblade and Stormrazor unique to each
Didn't
other?
touch them.
This could happen then. We could see the Duskblades, Stormrazor. I've seen quite a
Yeah,
few
that
Zeds
is something.
pick
Yeah,
up.
a lot of Zeds, so they go for, because it obviously means that after you pop your ultimate, you get that initial burst. You don't need to build more crit items beyond that, except maybe if you want insane burst of stack shift, but you just go for that one big auto. Means you have a really effective pop.
And it's a very cheap laning item.
Yep.
Yeah, I think the one problem is, though, Misfits are a full AD composition, and there are a lot of people on the side of Misfits who can build armor. That's going to make things a bit difficult for Zed in the late game. I think if it does get to the later stages, EXCEL might be able to find a significant advantage from
I was
that.
going to say, literally everyone but Draven can build
Even
armor.
Draven can
Even
get
Draven can, he can go Tabby and he can go GA.
Yeah.
So it's like there's good ways to itemize against this. I'm interested to see where EXCEL go.
Azonya's in a GA reduces leaders like who he can target with his ultimate. Like Sendo will probably build a GA anyway because that's such a standard Aurelia item, especially if you're going to be dueling and split pushing. You know, Draven, I expect to see the GA not first. You know, it'll be a little bit later on in the game.
That first item.
And then first time GA, just go for it.
Yep.
He might pick a stopwatch up fairly early just to try and deny leader. And then Rippy, you know, he's going to get Azonya's in this game.
Absolutely.
One of the things
You're going to have less targets for leader. So as the game goes later into this game, leader kind of gets slightly more useless. So it's going to be down to him snowballing the lane and looking for the roam.
I mean, what I will say is there's no exhaust to deal with Zed. So it will have to be stopwatches coming out because they've matched summoner for summoner around the map. I'm liking that heal is coming back. You've seen that buffed. I was surprised not to see it much at all in the previous series. Now these guys are showcasing, hopefully, why it's good. I mean, one team has to win, so one of them will showcase why it's good, I'm sure.
Great. That was like the most blanket statement. Like, I can't be wrong no matter what.
I think it makes sense though because you have two bot lanes that are a lot more volatile. We talked about how the Rakan is a bit weaker. There's much more potential to all in, but then you're playing into Xayah Rakan. That is one of the strongest bot lanes level. I mean, you could argue the strongest bot lane level 1. They are bot lanes who want to tango. We saw in the previous series some of the bot lanes were a bit less interactive. It was just looking for poke. Not here. They're looking for kills. We have a top lane matchup that's fairly volatile. The Gnar into the Irelia. It's not just tanks, even though Rift somehow managed to make that a volatile matchup, weirdly. And then in the mid lane, we're seeing two... well, I mean, Vlad's not really a high skill champion, but we're seeing an assassin into this Vladimir, so quite volatile to go back and forth.
Well, just going back to Tiger's point, either Zed will win or he will lose. We'll have to find out. We do have a couple of tweets to bring up while we're loading into the game. As you can see, clearly Sendo is the best player in the league and one who deserves the MVP. His huge heart must win the prize. Best Cho'Gath player by far. He's not playing Cho'Gath, unfortunately, so...
I was going to lose because of that.
I was going to say in the league. Do you mean in Forge of Champions or in the League of Legends?
There it is.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah, perfect. Shamrock Tiger.
VGU leaked. There's the new Malphite, guys.
Yeah, it's actually having a visual update. This is going to be it.
I like it more that way.
You were lucky because you were the Iris caster Riot chose.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
I
think
had
it's
a
obvious it was pretty much inevitable that Malphite was going to be updated. Obviously, it was going to be me who gets thrown on his face.
I think if they update Malphite, like do a complete rework, complete change as well, he's suddenly made of like marble or...
There is a marble Malphite skin.
There is it.
Yeah.
You're right. He's made of grass. Doesn't matter. You're still going to keep that skin. I reckon that skin will never get changed.
Shamrock,
don't ask. I don't know. It's late. I want a hot dog.
Yeah.
Like, the only place open at this time of night is like this hot dog bar, and we all get like 4 hot dogs each.
Great.
They're really good. They're super and cheap as hell. Like €2 for a hot dog.
Unfortunately, we do have, well, not unfortunately, very fortunately, we have a great series ahead of us.
Oh, it's going to be such a great series. I am so excited.
And I think both teams have sort of drafted confidently, but they've also drafted lane matchups that can go either way. We saw in the other game, in the other series, between Wind and Rain and Enclave, it was like, yeah, okay, we drafted advantage in this lane, we drafted advantage in this lane, not so much here. It was very back and forth based on the draft. Here, both teams like, look, we want to outskill you. These matchups aren't out, this one beats this. This is like, we think we can play our matchups better than you can.
Yeah, like I really like the Irelia Gnar matchup top as well.
Yeah.
That's always a super fun one. Previously, it was like old Irelia pre-rework was always picked into Gnar as a counter. This Aurelia's less heavy a counter, but could certainly cut the distance and fight the Gnar. Yeah.
And if he dodges it, then bit unlucky.
Yeah, it's true. But I'm hoping to see more trades like that, and then obviously the Irelia will go Conqueror as well. So the longer the trades goes on, you would expect Irelia to come out ahead. Yeah,
the question is, with the junglers being Sejuani Gragas, I'd give Gragas a slight edge in the early game.
Double vision! And we're back.
Two of us. I give the slight edge over to the Gragas in the early game, but the question is how much impact they can make, because when lanes are so equal throughout and have a lot of back and forth between them, it really comes down to what the junglers can do with that pressure.
Oh,
that is terrifying.
Way too close.
I never want to see that again.
Yeah. No, keep that
Bush, mate, you can't let that happen again. That was scary as hell.
Oh, that's a Nightblade, Irelia?
Anyone who's sitting with their lights off in their room watching this full screen, like, whoa, jeez, what's going on there?
I mean, they probably react like that when they see your face anyway.
Oh.
So I put forward the idea for us all casting together tomorrow, but you know what? I think it's just gonna be me and Tig.
Okay, whatever. You do you.
Yeah, I'll do you.
Maybe me and Tig will just cast. Maybe that'll be the better duo.
Yeah, go for it, dude.
I'm out of this fight. You guys fight without me.
Unfortunately, you are heavily in this fight, mate. You get to talk about the game with me.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to this. Again, we've talked a lot about how important this is for EXCEL as well. They want to get that safety. They want to get the guaranteed EU Masters spot. And it is Misfits who are really looking to get back on form. This doesn't necessarily change a huge amount of where they are in terms of the standings, but it certainly changes their confidence and momentum.
Big point, Predator Vladimir.
I thought you were going to say Predator Gragas for a second. I was like,
wish,
oh no!
I wish, but no, Predator Vladimir, so opens up the potential to roam. He has already picked up those boots. if you manage to get priority in the lane against the Zed, it's hard when your Q is on such a short cooldown. I mean, obviously he's got the shove now because level 1 Zed isn't the best. Once Zed hits that level 3 point, you can push back. Oh, good trade coming out from Sendo.
Was that fleet of footwork on Afflict as well? So going really for that jungle.
Yeah, once
so
it gives extra health for the early clear. Also the attack speed's nice for that. And then also pretty nice in those early skirmishes. Aftershock obviously great once you land the CC to give it resistances and scales better.
I mean, a lot of people will also argue that Aftershock is somewhat redundant on Sejuani because, of course, you already have your passive. Yeah. I mean, still very useful, still nice to have that pop, but as we said, fleet footwork, better for these early game duels, and with the way the meta is now, with the way these comps are, I think the early game is going to be really important.
Absolutely. I mean, we said that the Gragas has a bit more early pressure, but I feel like Afflict can't let that happen, has to match that, especially when the lanes are matched so evenly. To see the electrocute get poked by Leader doesn't do quite as much damage in this patch, but again, it's going to be up a lot sooner if you can continue to proc it. It's going to be in a good situation. Stun doesn't land there from Sendo, and that is a critical thing in these trades.
I mean, the last series has almost spoiled us in the sense that we expect more even, like smaller lanes, not a huge amount happening, and we're getting that this game, even though the picks are much more volatile.
Yeah.
I think it just shows that these are some of like the cleaner teams, the people who are playing more strategically, not looking to give up massive lane deficits, and certainly Leader as a player is looking to punish, but not being given that opening.
Are you saying Kerberos' Malphite wasn't clean?
Yes.
Wow.
He was 2-0 at the beginning of the game.
Opposite of clean. That was horrible.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, he went 2-0.
Yeah.
And then he went like
that wasn't the lane, though. That was not the lane.
Speaking of that matchup, we have seen a bit of a CS lead gained up already by the Aurelia over the Narf. Shikari not doing the best in this matchup as of now. And you actually see Sendo go for it early back and pick up double longswords. So wanting to just get as much power as soon as possible in that matchup.
Yep, I think it makes sense. You're pushed up anyway. You're not really going to change a huge amount.
You don't want to get ganked as well.
Yep, so might as well make sure you stay ahead in CS, because now they have to push the whole wave up to try counter that.
Oh, I think, did Rippy just miss that cannon? That was very sad.
And Leader's actually about to get himself a big wave crashing into him as well, so he's about to actually take over as far as CS is concerned in this mid lane. As that stun doesn't connect Sendo, unfortunately.
Unfortunate. I don't think he would have wanted to dive in too aggressively, considering there's a massive wave of minions, but the attempt was there.
You know, it's just a bit of fun. Just sending a message, isn't it? It's like missing a fresh hook, you know.
Yeah, it's just testing him. Where's he going to dodge?
Now, as Leader approaches this level 6 mark, I actually don't expect him to go on Rippy so much as I expect to see if he can make a roam.
Oh, quick step, headbutt pulverize in. Taxa gets the belly bob down, and first blood is over to the Draven.
We said Rakan is now vulnerable to a lot of quick damage. We see it there.
I don't think that was the nerf. I think that was just him overextending, not being aware he was on a ward. Good punish from EXCEL, and the kill goes over to the best person possible.
Yeah, Cash is there. I didn't see how much gold he actually got from the passive, though.
It's enough to pick up a BF.
A million
nice
gold.
for him right
million gold.
Got a million.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Let's have a little look at that play. How Prosper actually was able to get himself caught out. I think maybe there we are.
Indeed, you do. You can see it here. Look, Prosper sitting on the ward, as Dan pointed out. Quickset just combos them. Taxer was in the rush as well. Really nicely done from these guys, especially as we said. Really important that Benzer gets the kill there. That cash-in will hugely help them out in this bot lane, especially one that is relatively Zyrakan favored because, of course, their duo synergy is so strong.
It's going to be very, very big. As for the moment, Leader has got himself a 8 CS lead over his counterpart in the mid lane. Hasn't actually based, hasn't even used one of the pots he started the game with as well. So he's actually doing a very good job to hang on to any kind of advantage he can get, as Rippy struggling for the moment. Is level 6, so has that Hemo Plague available. Is closing in on that point now where...
Well, previously we did talk about how Vlad will need that time to scale up. Prior to level 6, won't really have any pressure in the lane, and we're seeing that with none of the pots being forced. Realistically, no trade going heavily one way either. Rippy's just happy to leave this kind of go even and then try heal up off those electrocute procs.
Yeah, just trying to get as much healing as possible, but you're seeing, well, that was one combo go down, an electrocute proc, half health Rippy. Sitting on those Predator boots as his first base as well, so that was actually his first buy. He just started the game with Predator boots. Explain?
It allows him to dodge in and out of those skill shots. Unfortunately, Leader seems to be landing on them, or unfortunately for Rippy, certainly.
Well, he's not using it,
he's being able to land on them.
He actually popped it to get to lane faster.
But the big thing with Predator as well is it allows you to roam more, so if he'd managed to push up effectively, if they decided to play around mid, they could have made larger roams come through.
Well, Leader is able to pick himself up 2 more long swords, and he gets himself his serrated dirk as well, where Rippy just has himself that Hex Tech revolver. So building towards the Proto Belt. Is Venza.
I mean, he would have had the option as well. He could have tried to go for his Seekers early on. Decides to go for the Proto Belt. Again, maybe not able to fully afford the Seekers as well. But it's fairly standard. I think that's fine.
Phosphor's level 4, so not very close to having that quickness yet, but Afflict was over the wall with his Glacial Prison. So maybe looking for a play. There is no ward, actually, so he can Arctic Assault over. Actually using the Blast Cone. They're looking to make the play here. Flash forward, goes in. He headbutts him into Venza. In comes the Featherstorm, and Chrisberg is able to find himself a kill. Quicksef is forced to run away.
That was a disaster, and I want to see that in slow motion as well in the replay, because that was rough. What happened there was the flash was actually messed up by Afflict too. He wanted to flash onto the Draven, couldn't quite do so, so Quicksef is like, I'm sorry, dude, I know you wasted your flash for this. Let me help you out. Well, we'll go back now to the top lane, where Sendo picks up the Crab.
They were just fighting for the Crab there. Shikari actually getting a bit of damage down onto Sendo, getting his Hyperprocs constantly fucked on. Sendo, that was an uh-oh.
Getting out-traded there, but most importantly, Sendo picked himself up the Scuttle. Sure, he had to use his flash, but Scuttle Crab. Moral victory. And that is what happens when you don't pick up Seekers. And that's why, I mean, okay, we're seeing now the combo coming in.
That's the Ignite. Deathmark has been held. Rippy uses the Blood Pool. Leader is flashing out, and Rippy is able to answer back the kill. Zed means nothing.
And that was just really important jungle pathing. We were talking about how important this should be in the early game. We see that in the bot lane, and now we see it again in the mid lane. This time punishing Leader. Oh, and bot lane again.
Actually looking to come in. That's going to be a headbutt pulverized, but the knock-up lands onto 2. Whirling Death is there, and Chrisberg finds his 2nd kill. Quicksef running away. Looks like he's going to be able to do so.
And that is just shutting down this Draven, who managed to get that first blood. Most importantly, giving them a good bit of agency back in this lane.
Oh,
but now
Vanguard's Edge, Gnar into the wall, the wallop comes down, and Jakari is looking to turn this fight. Sendo falls down, Jakari with a 1v1.
And that was coming close, but no, still Shikari with the Edge. There was no flash available for Sendo as well, so he had to hard commit to that play. Gets close, but realistically, it was always Shikari with the lead.
Well, this will actually be a Mountain Drake going over to Misfits, so even though they have been having a little bit of a hard time with Leader dying, Misfits still quite content. Gold is very, very close. Neck and neck. 400 separates them, and EXCEL have a marginal lead. Venza goes down, though, twice, as we are going to see, once again, the play in the bot lane.
Yeah, and look, I mean, they could just walk attack. Still no ward, so this play is made very easy. Afflict just runs forward, slowing smites. At that point, the gank has already been successful, because all Chrisberg has to do is walk backwards, avoid any of the quick damage coming through, wait for the CC, and they can just turn it right back around.
And again, they gift it to Chrisberg as well, so this is very big. He's now 2-0 on the Zyres. Can also see this 1v1. Sendo feeling very confident, but then Shikari
no way out at this
gets like 2 Hyperprocs on him, and the chain CC. Vanguard's Edge is not going to do you absolutely anything, Sendo. And Shikari gives himself a pretty simple 1v1 there.
Once he queued forward, he was committed to the play, because Gnar is going to be able to slow you consistently on the way out. You have to hard commit to that, and I don't think he fully realized that what he was willing to go for when he started that queue.
Draven typically likes to build the BS sword. Sometimes we do see the Stormrazor as well, so there's that kind of split mind on where you go. You still always get a Vampiric Scepter on Draven in lane, so you just have that extra sustain because you're played quite aggressive. But with this, we see Chrisberg's being able to finish up his Stormrazor, and Venza's still sitting on a BF sword, and potentially the Bloodthirster, potentially the Stormrazor, but he's still a long way away from actually revealing what he's going to be building here.
But because of the nature of Draven, there's still a lot of burst available to this EXCEL side. So if they get a roam down towards this bot lane, you can still expect Draven to turn in a lot of damage.
I mean, Draven's base damage is dirty. I've seen the Tyler one where he just builds 6 BF swords in lane, and it just wins the game with that.
It reminds me of the old Rengar build top, where you just build as many Doran's Blades as you could afford, and just stomp the lane, and then you'd slowly start buying actual items.
Yeah, you'd slowly convert them into BF.
Here's Taxer mid, though.
Well, has already used that Shadow, but with the Yumo, he's able to dodge away.
You know, he would have cut that distance if he took Predator.
Yeah.
But no, this
I'm
time
actually surprised that he went for Yumi's first. Like, I'm amazed we don't see the Duskblade come out first, but...
I like the safety. To
yeah.
be honest, the speed up there is going to be always useful, especially when you're avoiding things like Gragas. Even in terms of your roaming, it helps a lot, but now is Taxer spotted out.
Rippy's actually used the Predator as well. Yeah, so he is just hurling
just
in.
for tower, though.
Yeah, this is going to be first turret blood going down as Rift-Tailed was picked up. Is sitting on Afflict, but there's not going to be any contest coming out from Misfits, and EXCEL recognizing where they're strong on the map and are going to be able to take themselves down. A first turret blood, excelling the gold lead now in their favor. 1k over to Misfits. EXCEL, sorry.
Yeah, and I kind of like this. You know, the Youmuu's is forced mid, which means that the roam from leader isn't going to be as quick. You then immediately pop the Predator, send Rippy down there, joined by Taxer. The 4-man bot that that Misfits aren't in a position to respond to works out well for EXCEL.
Shikari's able to get a bit of damage onto this turret. Ascendo hopping forward, looking for the stun. Not going to be able to find it, though. And for now, it does feel like some of the lanes are going very well for Misfits, but the game is still running at a decent pace for EXCEL. It's very close, neck and neck, both of these teams. Gold exactly 1,000 separates them.
As we predicted, 4 tabbies immediately on EXCEL. It's everyone but the Alistair who wants to roam that little bit more with Mobies, has picked themselves up tabbies, and now I wouldn't be surprised to see the Zanya's gotten right here for the Vladimir, but could go for whatever you want after this. And now we do see, as you were saying, it was Draven kind of hiding his hand.
Oh, but it's actually just going to be the engage. A flick throws the ulti out. Shikari goes 2-0 on the Gnar. Rift-Tailed will get summoned as well, and now Misfits looking to drop themselves down a turret for themselves. As we do actually have the ADC and support for Misfits. Both Chris Berg and Prospect are hanging out in that mid lane now.
And at this point, I'd especially with the kind of comp that Misfits are running, I'd love to see a more split push focused Gnar build. I think you go towards that Black Cleaver, and from there you pick up things like the Blade of the Rune King, you know, things just allow you to hard win that 1v1, especially with the way this game is paced right now.
Taxa hanging around in the mid lane, just seeing a bit of a battle for vision. When both of the ADCs go mid and the turrets are still standing in mid lane, it kind of gets a bit stale. Both of them just push a wave, walk away. Push a wave, walk away. All you do.
Yeah,
I'd be curious to see what Venter picks up as well next. If he goes for that Storm Razor, or if he decides to go for something like a rapid fire cannon into Infinity Edge, which is also a viable option.
Absolutely. I think given the way this game is playing out, they'll probably want to try scale into fighting as soon as possible before they run into massive issues with the likes of Leader, the likes of Shikari in the side lanes. So I think Storm Razor might be a quicker spike, might give them a lot more damage and allow them to quickly force engages on people as soon as they set up sidewave pushes.
The Leader has been sent to top side now, as we do see the Australia lanes come out. Shikari hanging around the bot side, but actually in Mega for the moment. Walking up, doesn't have Gnar though, so not actually going to be able to make a play. Is Leader actually looking for the engage. Going to turn around, does have that Death Mark available. The Ignites are going to get thrown down a piece, and in comes the Death Mark. Rippy instantly forced to use the Blood Pool, but they flash this forward. Leader looking for the 1v1. He shadows out!
He had to shadow out there. It was going to be Rippy able to heal up there at the end. I don't think he could have committed to that play. He was all out of energy.
Oh, one auto attack away, but makes the smart decision. Doesn't overcommit and potentially give a free kill over to Rippy. He did have a Proto Belt available as well, so...
And you're seeing how handy it is that Rippy's able to get this early armor and is now continuing to build towards armor as expected. This will start to become an issue for these guys. And we were talking about as the game scales forward, Misfits as a whole need to be able to deal with that. And on the other side, it's actually Shikari finally getting ganked himself, but has a bit more safety with that Gnar.
Yeah, just able to Gnar back. Fenza just gets on a trampoline. Decides he doesn't actually want to bounce that way.
Misfits responding though. They've pushed up the mid wave and now they're going to try use this. They have a lot of engage options.
Yeah, Tax is just going to get caught out by the ultimate Prospect and knocks him up. Going golden though. Shikari over the wall looking for the slows as Tax is falling out. The whirling death only clips onto Prospect. Quickstep does not get the pulverize out, and Afflict is now looking to hop away. In comes Quickstep coming through from Prospect. He's catching multiple members out, but nobody's died yet. Explosive cast slows down the disengage, and Shikari with a wallop trying to find a kill onto Sendo. This fight has not ended and nobody has died.
What is
now we're seeing Infernal getting started up. That's going to put a lot of damage onto Misfits.
They're not committing.
They can't. They're losing too much health.
No, now they're recommitting. Now
oh, this is very dangerous.
Venzer's out of mana. People are low on both sides. See what they can find.
Leader
here.
has Death Mark. That's going to be crucial. That's going to be the Infernal Drake getting picked up, and Leader goes forward.
I think he was considering the death mark onto Sendo. It definitely would have been the kill, but could well have been just a 1v1 they didn't want to force. Especially now with the wave the way it is in the mid lane. They need to be around as a full 5-man team.
Going to be able to save this turret as well. Misfits lose nobody and are able to pick themselves up an Infernal Drake. They have a Mountain and an Infernal. Gold is still even. 17 minutes in, 100 gold separates these two teams.
And this is the Misfits we wanted coming into Forge of Champions. You know, we were looking at this team. They'd suddenly completely dropped off the face of the earth in the previous qualifying tournaments. Return with the Zen. You get leader into the mid lane, and they show up like this. The movements around the objectives just look so much smarter. And it's just refreshing to see.
Leader building towards that Duskblade as well now. Pretty close to it. Just needs to get a Warhammer, and he's going to be A-OK. And this is where the two titans from the UK scene, both EXCEL and Misfits, two of the staple champions, you know. Misfits currently the reigning kings of the UK, EXCEL the previous kings.
That's the Predator procced. Rippy using it to zone them off this tower, as they did for the bot tower. This is smart from EXCEL. They don't need to force an engage if they could just make sure they get objectives here. And again, coming back to what Misfits want to do, we're seeing Zed in those side lanes. We're seeing now Gnar moving down towards that bot lane. The 1-3-1 for Misfits is key to their victory.
And it might look like the Zed hasn't actually done too much, but he's been constantly applying pressure to side lanes. Yes, he died once, but it wasn't the end of the world for him. So while this isn't the Zed you're used to in your solo queue going 10-0, he's playing this role very well. And now Quicksef does need to be a little bit careful, but it is only Prospect and Afflict. No actual damage to really come up.
And it is 18 minutes in, 19 now. There's a lot of pressure being thrown both sides, and I love the way they're moving around these towers. You can see now the top outer, the last focus here for EXCEL, but they've been dragged down to the bot lane, dragged to the mid lane by the pressure Misfits are putting out with the split.
That's going to be the ultimate into the quickness, into the knock-up. Leader's able to find himself one. A 4-man pulverized by Quicksef does nothing, and the death mark will go popped, and it's a double kill onto Leader. Great snide up, though. Will secure themselves at least a return kill. Now Afflict is forced to run away. Sendo hot on the heels, and only one will fall for the side of Misfits.
But this is the strength of their 1-3-1. They respond to a fight there. It was actually a great fight forced from Misfits, because not only did it go well for them, they also get that bot tower.
Well, Afflict just quite once again.
Look, what's important here is they've set up the 1-3-1, and Leader has now the time to run ahead.
And we will see that
into the mid lane. He knows he's beaten them here, so they can force the engage. They end their engages so quickly that even that small lead he had on Rippy gives him the time to get himself a double kill.
It seems very minor, but Leader actually dodged a turret shot as well by ulting, which was able to get himself a kill. Afflict able to flash out and just walk his way out nice and safe, and EXCEL
but this is 4v5
to answer out. Yeah,
that was 4v5, and Misfits are still pulling that off. You can see all they're looking for is quick picks. They're controlling the map with the 1-3-1 and trying to just converge really quickly with that Rakan Sejuani.
Shikari building towards that Jagarum's Fist now on the
Jagarum's Fist.
Jagarum's Fist, sorry.
You got it. I believe in you.
I'm wording well today. I said that really slowly as well for some reason.
It's all good, dude.
So really kind of committing for that split push. Actually, no, sorry, that's a Frozen Mallet. Yeah, sorry. It's not Sterix Gauge, it's a Frozen Mallet.
Yep.
Okay, for some reason I thought he was building a Sterix, but he can't because he's ranged.
It's true. Frozen Mallet as well. Standard item on Gnar.
Fully committed for the split push, because normally you build a cleaver and then like full tank on Gnar if you want to look for team fighting. This time, Shikari definitely building towards just the 1v1, just wants to stay in the lane. Leader with a shadow is able to dodge out, but explosive cast back. Rippy looking to put the damage down. That's going to be the death mark. Leader trying to duck and dive out. Oh, dodges out from the whirling death. He's still alive, but Venza is looking to chase up for the kills. He's going to give over a kill to Rippy though, and a Vanguard's Edge by Sendo connects to Shikari. Shikari is tired. He cannot go mega, but he can dodge stuns. He can pump the damage out. Shikari, you animal!
All they need to do is dodge the stun, and they win that. They do, and now Misfits again use the objectives, push themselves forward, use their waves, and take out another tower.
Well, Misfits at 21 minutes on the clock, looking to pressure out this turret. Feels a little bit kind of spread, but that's going to be the quickness. That's going to be the engage. That's going to be Chrisberg going 3-0 on the Xayah, and Quicksef needs to run away. He is losing a lot of health, but Rippy does not have Hemo Plague. Is not a threat to Misfits. They're going to be able to walk out nice and safe.
I feel like that's a fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me, because you've seen Sejuani and Rakan together. You know what they can do around towers. You know the damage these guys have following that engage. And it's Misfits again, just pulling lead after lead. Really good showing for them right now, because EXCEL, absolutely a top team. Misfits showing why they are now in contention. They are looking to take them out.
Well, the return of Zed really... Zen, sorry, not Zed. But there is a Zed in the game, as we do see the replay once again.
Look, I love how well these play this dude. This wastes so much of their time.
Oh, he does.
So he ults over that. He flashes immediately, knowing dodge that. And you can see this jump back, but it was perfectly timed ahead of the whirling death. That ult misses, but at this point, he's already dead, right? There was no way he was avoiding death in this play, but it did buy them enough time to consistently push. So it's Sendo is forced onto this. Once this misses, Shikari's won the trade. Because at that point, the consistent damage is just there. Shikari gets the one fleet footwork proc, heals up on top of that. So
he's going
good in this
full split push.
It's what I said.
King as well.
Rune King is important. He just needs to destroy this side lane because that's all he is for this comp.
And Sendo's not going to go into Vampiric. He's going to go into Titanic, as actually Leader could get caught out here, forced to use the Death Mark, is going to get stunned up, is going to get popped down.
There it is.
Sendo goes pop! Leader! Taxa falls out. He's able to pick him up. Holy moly!
And cameraman, you gotta follow the leader because he is making plays around the map. Beautifully done. Misfits now following with the objectives as well. So many people were forced top just to make a 1-for-1 happen, and they're gonna get the in-hit.
Leader is just a hero here. Does buy time. That's going to be the Feather Storm, and the inhibitor still remains. Prospect trying to get a time. The quickness, the knockup. This could be the fight. An explosive class and a whirling death comes out, but here, Gnar is going to Gnar one back. That's going to be Cow on the menu, as Shikari is able to pick up the kill. Rippy flashes forward, and that will be an explosive cast into a shutdown. Now we see Venter on the side. Rippy running low is going to go golden. Is able to answer out, and EXCEL has suddenly found themselves their opening. Prospect gets stunned up, and Sendo takes him down.
Baron has to be the focus here from these guys, but a really quick turnaround from EXCEL. Really necessary turnaround from EXCEL. And you can see the way they split Gnar off in that fight was so important for them to turn that around.
We see it flicked, is hanging about, does almost
Leader's still here.
Smite up, and Leader is here on the Zed. This has to be the play.
By himself, he can zone them off at this point. That is really telling for the state EXCEL have found themselves in. And while that play turned around well for them, while they found the fight, a lot was forced from them. You could see just all the summoners on cooldown. And the big thing is now it's Misfits who can still turn this into more plays for them. They got the inhib.
I mean, Leader's slowing the bases down as well, just by ghost blading and walking at them. Let's just see this mid lane action once again, because this was so good.
Okay, so the inhib almost goes down, so EXCEL decides, okay, we're going to force the engage here, because they know the TP is coming in, but look how important this split is. I say, look how quickly Shikari gets split off from the rest of his team. As he goes forward for Venzer, all they do now is set up quick sets between them, so Shikari's completely left by himself. That's the weakness of the split push build. He starts to get forced out, and now EXCEL can re-engage.
Rippy thought he had the hero play there, but his damage just wasn't enough. Chrisberg...
I mean, he still gets a lot there.
He does. He could have got more. Let's not lie. I want more! But no, not to discount from him. We are going to see Sendo with the W pick up a kill.
Now landing the key stuns that he had missed down in that bot lane.
Finally turning it around.
It's not too late for them, though. Look at this. How volatile this game is. There's only a 2.5k gold lead. We have seen massive gold leads turned around previously, and based on the way this game is playing, you'd expect it to be more, because Misfits have seemed in control of the map.
I mean, look at the
EXCEL still finding openings.
You've got a 1-3 Draven, who's pretty much equal in CS to Chrisberg. In gold, sorry, to Chrisberg. It's only marginally behind him, like a longsword worth of items behind him. And Infinity Edge, Rapid Fire Cannon, Storm Razor is finished up on Chrisberg. This is a scary state to be in. Sendo
Misfits
could
still
be
in
for a bit of
control.
trouble. Leader flashes forward to the death mark. Vanguard's Edge is there. Sendo goes golden to try and block the dodge. He's going out with the blade dance. He's going to fall down, but as in comes Rippy. In comes everyone else. Venza with a whirling death finds himself a kill. Rippy into the pool. Shikari is hopping away, and EXCEL are looking for more. Misfits trying to get themselves a Baron Asher. They do answer out, and Taxa cannot find the steal. And blocks away. In comes the blade cooler, and down goes the fat man. Chrisberg is 4-1.
And it's Misfits playing to their win conditions. You're forcing people to constantly go respond to your split pushers, immediately turn onto the Baron. It got a little close there towards the end with Taxer, but they managed to dodge it out, and they managed to turn it quickly around onto him and pick themselves the Baron.
Looking for those hero plays. Taxa not able to secure the Baron. And with an open base, with an open inhibitor, 27 minutes on the clock, it's looking scary for EXCEL in this game 1.
Yeah, we can have a quick look at the replay as they're all forced down to go deal with Shikari and Leader, because this should have been Sendo dying so quickly, but he played it extremely well with the stopwatch. Flashes back immediately, forced himself forward, stopwatches in the middle to ensure he doesn't get hit by the Zed Deathmark proc.
Oh, blade search.
That stun was really important for Leader to dodge as well, otherwise he would have been caught up under tower. Ends up getting caught up by Quickset, and then it's Rippy dodging the ultimate from Shikari there to stick onto him. Shikari still has hop, still starts jumping away, and then it's Taxer trying to get in, but it's Prosphere just turns onto him and he can't find his opening, and Misfits are able to pick him up. Again, Featherstorm beautifully dodging so many key abilities. Loving how well these guys are playing in this game right now.
I think, like, yeah, the key abilities that Misfits are throwing down to dodge the major bits of CC is just so gorgeous to watch.
Yes.
So clean. We are seeing this tier 2 in the top side getting shoved in now by EXCEL. By Misfits. And EXCEL with their backs to the wall need to make a play happen. As
split push
Sendo
as well.
does find a stun onto Shikari, but that's a lot of damage from Gnar. Who counters who, sorry?
In the split push build, that's why Gnar is seeing so much prevalence, because you can build them any way. You could have gone for the tank if you started to fall behind. If you start pulling ahead, build your damage. Force that matchup out.
Well, Gnar with that Blade of the Ruin King. That extra attack speed is able to drop objectives nice and fast. 2 Mountain Drakes and an Infernal Drake as well. In goes Quickstep, actually goes in with a flash for the Pulverize. Takes a lot of damage on the return. They actually might go for the damage. The base is in shatters. 2 inhibitors have gone down, and EXCEL need to just pull the trigger, need to find that play. Misfits just dragging around the map, playing with so much respect for their opponents. Taxa actually looking for the hero.
Wrong way, though.
Doesn't get the explosive cast where he needs.
That's got to be rough for them, because a lot of these are desperation plays at this point. EXCEL know they have to force it before they end up with 3 inhibs down, stuck in their base against the Baron, but it looks like Misfits have dragged them right there.
Just trying to catch as many waves as possible, but Baron Nashor still is on this team for this last wave. The turret still has a fair amount of health HP, sorry, so at least they've got that to work with, but you do have to worry about the fact that Gnar and Zed are pushing waves in from the side lanes. These Baron minions will time out fairly soon, but what Misfits have been able to accomplish with this Baron buff has been so big for them.
And they don't need to stop this siege losing the Baron. They can just continue it forward. You still have super minions you have to go deal with. You still have these really strong split pushers who can potentially make a fight happen around the Nexus towers. And you can see Shikari and Leader just dragging them down away from their turret. And now it's Misfits who want to see if they can pick it up. Quickset goes in.
That's going to be the headbutt pulverized. Chrisberg forced to use the Featherstorm as he dodges away from the whirling death. Quickset now is ignited and is running low. Rippy looking to go in with the Predator. Flashes forward onto Prosphere. Throws in the Hemoplague onto 2, but he gets knocked out. Prosphere is coming back. It's going to be 1 onto down at least. And now Gnar, Shikari about to go mega. About to try and get this play as the turret falls down outside the Nexus. And Misfits almost are able to take down the game. EXCEL holding on by the skin of their teeth.
They can just reset, though. Misfits got themselves a lot of gold from those plays. They walk back, go back to their base, pick themselves up some of those items. They're now accelerated to a 6k gold lead. Spend some of that, bring it back to the exact same siege setup. It's still EXCEL very much in trouble here.
Ocean Drake going to get picked up as well, which helps out with the siege. Gives you a bit of extra sustain. It's not quite as good as it is like a 3rd Mountain Drake or a 2nd Infernal Drake, but you know, I'm coming up with reasons to back up Misfits here.
I mean, it just shows they've been complete control of
Don't
this
worry,
game
by the
of the way they're playing.
GA has been finished on Sendo now. This game's about to turn around. Leader can't ult him anymore.
These fights are relatively close, but the big thing is Misfits don't care. They don't want to fight you. They just want to split you across and take objectives.
They've been 1v3s and they're close. Like,
Yeah.
they've been 1v3 close fights. Sorry, 5v3 close fights, while Leader and Shikari just being off pushing side lanes, taking objectives. I'd hate to think what a 5v5 would look like if Misfits took one now.
I'd actually love this. Nar's gone for a wit's end, knowing that everyone's trying to stack armor on the other team, but Leader
actually gets stunned, takes the shadow out.
I'm out.
That is frustrating as hell. Got himself a BF sword, got himself a
He's going for the
cloth
GA.
armor, so it's the GA, not the
But I was going to say, the wit's end on Nar is really nice because he knows everyone's stacking armor against him. Hyper proc is magic damage. That's why you're seeing on the Aurelia the amount of damage that is putting out every time it procs. It is hilarious.
Well, Shikari actually will get stunned up this time. Headbutt Pulverize is going to be available. Shikari still has that hop, skips, jumps away over the wall. In comes Rippy though with the Predator on. Flash out by Shikari. And he is fine.
That's fine. He did have to force the flash, so it was good from EXCEL. Still trying to force them back, trying to beat them before they could set up their split push. I like how the way EXCEL have set up their vision just inside their bot jungle, knowing that that's where Misfits need to set up their push before they can force that top tower.
You have to be careful. Baron Nashor coming up in 1 minute. That inhibitor in the bot lane should be respawning fairly soon as well, around that time, as it was taken down fairly a while back now. So at least that will alleviate some pressure. But when you think about alleviating pressure, you've got to try and deal with the Baron potential coming through from Misfits. While Shikari, he's not going to be doing Baron. He's going to be doing your base. He's going to be taking as much as he can.
Absolutely, and I think you have the same from Leader, who's kind of hovering between the two. He can join Shikari, he can push his own lane, or he can just look to pick people off before a team fight kicks off for EXCEL.
We can take a breath. The game is not ended for EXCEL. I think that's one of the key things. It was
the setup for Baron is happening.
But they do have to worry about this.
Yes.
This is the thing they have very worried
They have
about.
6 seconds and Misfits have vision control. This is it, and it's already been started up on that side.
Teleport's
EXCEL
available
not in a
to
position
Sendo.
to fight for it. They don't 100% know what's going down, but they probably have an idea. And now the magic.
Speaking of things that might be going down, Sendo, he's going to be forced to use his GAs. Remember, Baron is getting started up, inhibitors respawned, and Gnar has just Gnar'd out. Sendo does not have the capability to actually get the damage as Baron falls down. Misfits with their second Baron of this series. 34 minutes on the clock. 4 Drakes. All the inhibitors are respawning, but this is going to be a nice and simple shove for them.
Yeah, and you said the 3 people top. You want to get Leader pushing the other lane. The exact same as before. You're looking to pressure the inhibs and now go further again this time. Shikari is such a danger to them. They need to send more than one to deal with them.
But then that means this turret here will fall down. This will be the last one standing out. Quickstep looking for the engage. Featherstorm's there. Explosive cast. Delivers Chrisberg back. And we're seeing Rippy looking for the whirling death. Looking for the kill. Venza has not been able to get one as the inhibitor falls.
That's going to be
one.
On the base, though.
Oh, they've got one. They're still
already
chasing
over.
for
It's done.
2 members. The base is open. The split push worked out. And Misfits are going to be able to take game 1 of the series versus EXCEL.
Misfits. Really dominant map control, the way they moved EXCEL around in the mid game. Yes, EXCEL were able to slow it down, but it doesn't matter. Misfits with the control. Misfits will win.
The first time EXCEL win a team fight, they lose the game. That is so unfortunate for them.
But that's what Misfits did. They slowed it down and they went, look, if you want to team fight us, fine, you might win, but we will get more gold. We will get more objectives because we've got these split pushes going.
Yeah, and it was great. They had the Gnar on the bot side, obviously able to provide so much pressure, but then there's the flexibility of the Z pick. Yes, he can go down on the bot side and assist the Gnar, or he can help the team, providing a lot of sustained Baron damage, but it's been a threat for picks, and it just felt like no matter what EXCEL tried to do, they could never find the right engage onto the crucial targets. There were occasions when they did, like in that extended play bot lane, but in return they lost to Baron for it, so wouldn't really call it with.
I can't wait to see the damage from this game.
Leader had a lot of important zoning, but I'm not sure he'd be the highest damage.
I
think it's going to be Shikari.
I think it's Shikari, yeah.
I think Rippy did a lot, but not as much as Gnar by far.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a full damage Gnar. Like, he didn't build a single defensive item. You could argue Wit's End was his most defensive item in that game. Like, he was just, like,
that was
running away with it.
That was really enjoyable to watch.
That was Misfits perfectly executing a 1-3-1. I don't think there were a couple of, like,
they got slowed down,
mistakes,
but they, instead of, you know, forcing it anyway,
that was
they
them
did
slowing it down, not EXCEL.
Well, I disagree. What EXCEL did was they pushed their vision forward, and that slowed Misfits down, because instead of what we've seen a lot of teams do, go, okay, we need to force our play regardless, they go, okay, they've slowed us down, guys, that's fine. Let's establish our own vision. Let's not go too far forward. And we saw that with Leader willing to play the Z forward just to get vision and then back off.
Well, let's see that damage coming up on our screen. And surprise, surprise, it's actually the Vladimir who did the most damage.
I'm actually surprised you saw the Xayah come out as well. I mean, I know it was putting out a lot of damage in the middle of fights, but I still expected Shikari to just edge out ahead. A solid showing from, honestly, Misfits.
I think maybe if he was dealing with a tank, you would have done a bit more.
Yeah.
But I guess with Irelia, if you are hitting it, you're going to probably end up winning the trade. I mean, wasn't getting so much sustain.
And I mean,
shout out to Ox, though. He did predict the Vladimir at the highest.
Chrisberg,
Nicely done.
Chrisberg actually was also kind of 1v3, well, 3v3 as well, so he was constantly auto-attacking multiple people.
And you saw those Feather Storms as well.
They were huge.
And the recalls, the Blade Collar, just huge.
The thing I really loved about this comp from Misfits is the fact that they had, they normally pick quite safe bot lanes and they make the plays on the rest of the map. But here, not only did they pick something that's relatively safe in the Xayah Khan, but it allowed them a lot of pressure. In those early levels, they really punished that Draven. And then on top of that, you know, we talked about how they might want to look for the counter pick in terms of mid lane. They instead decided to give Shikari the counter pick. They had confidence in him, and traditionally we've seen Shikari be a very stable player, and yes, he can do well in certain matchups, but they sort of just said, right, you can play a tank, you can play an aggressive matchup. They were like, look, we're giving you a volatile matchup, because Irelia can get ahead. And they said, we're confident in you, you're going up against Sendu, who was his replacement on EXCEL. Shikari used to be on EXCEL, Sendu replaced him.
It's funny, you say this every time.
And he really brought it to him.
I would argue that was a lot more confidence in Leader. You're willing to blind pick Zed, right? Yep, sure, why not? Let's go for it.
I think both Leader and Shikari played so well in this series.
I think a lot of it comes down to how the team played as a whole. Because what happened, even their early game was then controlled by, yes, you have these two lanes that are doing decently, but a lot of it was, okay, we're going to force our jungle down bot, and now we have everyone doing well. As you can see from that damage graph, it was really well split because you had this team that was working really well around the map to force those towers.
I think the key thing as well is that when you have a 1-3-1 comp is that they really had a strong 3-man. Sejuani, obviously very tanky, has a lot of peel, but also the Rakan Xayah. It felt like whenever they went for the engage, it was such a difficulty because they all have a bit of ability. Obviously, the Xayah only has a Blade Caller, but still good for dodging away from, say, those explosive casts. But between them, there is so much peel. It's so hard to find an engage.
And even the bigger thing was, if you managed to bring one of your split pushers in, you saw that towards the mid lane outer tower, you can just immediately force and engage yourself once you have the numbers advantage.
Absolutely.
Well, that was a insanely fun game to watch, and I'm hoping game 2 of the series will be just as explosive and just as spicy picks. So we're going to cut to a quick break, and when we're back with game 2 of the series, can Misfits go 2-0, or can EXCEL pull this back? Don't go in here. We'll see you in a bit.